girl, a few things that might pop into your mind might be shoes, high heels, or even makeup. But why? Possibly because growing up, that was what was considered normal for a girl to be interested in. But what if I told you what I really like are sneakers and video games? Many might find me odd or even tell me to be more girly. Just because my favorite color is not pink, I don't know how to cook really well and break everything in my way because of my clumsiness, I'm told to change myself. Just because I don't fit into the so-called gender norms? But I mean, does it really matter if a boy plays with dolls or if a girl plays with cars? Is crushing the dreams of little children really worth it? Is giving a judgmental comment towards a little child almost every single day the solution? Is being different really that bad? I'm a girl, but is that all there is about me? Is knowing my gender enough information for people to start grouping me and judging me, as well as creating expectations about me? And when I don't meet their expectations, they make negative comments about me. Hi, I'm Hareem Faisal. Standing here today, I want to use this opportunity to talk about gender stereotypes, something many of us acknowledge, but we choose to not work on it because it's becoming normalized. But that doesn't make it right. Unfortunately, gender stereotypes have a significant impact on the daily lives of individuals. It can affect self-esteem, lower opportunities for both men and women, as well as lead to unequal treatment in workforces, education, and even relationships. For example, women are seen as sensitive and weak, while men are seen as strong and tough. When an individual does not meet such expectations, they will be judged. A woman would be called aggressive, while a man would be called sensitive for showing emotions. But of course, it is always important to remember that such stereotypes are not inherited, but rather are passed on generation to generation through socialization. But that doesn't make it right, because we don't realize it, but we are surrounded by stereotypes. For example, advertisements. From billboards to television commercial ads, they're everywhere. And we all know children, they're innocent, they're easily influenced. So that's where the process of normalizing such stereotypes begins. Toy advertisements for girls are marketed towards providing care for and appearance, whereas for boys, it would be focused more on competition. This tends to shift the mind of little children, where a girl would be focused more on appearance, and a boy would be focused more on how he's supposed to be competitive and tough. But gender stereotypes are not limited to age. From children to elders, everyone is impacted by this. For example, aging. It's a natural thing. A sign of aging would be getting gray hair. Again, it's very normal. But society would still have something negative to say about this. If a woman were to get gray hair, people would judge her, comment on her, as well as push her to dye it back. But for a man, it would be considered normal. Why? Now, talking about something people my age would relate to on a personal level would be society's reaction towards puberty. Puberty is a time of change. We change emotionally, physically, even mentally. Again, very normal, but yet society would still have something negative to say about it. For example, a boy would be celebrated for becoming more of a man, but if he does not meet that masculinity standard, he would be judged for not being manly enough. And a girl would be celebrated for growing up, but if she does not meet the standard of people, she would be judged for having imperfections. Now, despite all that, it does not mean no one has stood up against this. Many famous individuals have spoken up and or even broken stereotypes. In many of her speeches, Malala has encouraged women to speak up about how men are not only the ones capable for top-tier jobs. Even a famous artist called Taylor Swift spoke up about it in her song, The Men. Now, Similarly, in the past, which tells us that such a problem has been going on for years now, Marilyn Monroe spoke up about it. She even broke a stereotype, as she was the first female to have her own production company. And lastly, Princess Diana was the first royal female to wear a tuxedo-styled outfit. Now, even many celebrities spoke up about it, such as Jennifer Lawrence. She spoke up about how easy it is for men in her industry to be heard and accepted, whereas women are usually silenced out. And of course, Emma Watson spoke up about it at the He for She campaign launch in 2014. She said, and I quote, "Both men and women should feel free to be strong. Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. It is time we perceive gender on a spectrum and not as two opposing sets of ideals." Now, something many of us are interested in are sports. We all enjoy it, from football to basketball, even hockey. I'll talk about Formula One for today. If you know Formula One, you would know Lewis Hamilton. He's a very famous racer. But growing up, and to this day, he has struggled a lot, as he is the first and only Afro-Caribbean African racer. But he didn't let his struggles put him down. Instead, he used them to help people and educate people. For example, he recently spoke up for the W Series, which is a women's only championship which closed down due to financial issues, as not a lot of people were ready to support women coming into such a sport because it's only for men. But he spoke up about this, and he said, and I quote, "There's not enough representation across our board. There's not even a pathway for those young, amazing drivers to even get to Formula One." Then you have people who say, we're never going to see a female F1 driver. That's not a good narrative to be putting out, so I think we should be doing more, end quote. And I agree with him. We should be doing more. I know myself, I know my interests, and I know my dreams. It's time you do the same. Till when are we going to live our life based on people's expectations? Till when are we going to have to think twice before doing something because what will people say? It's time we celebrate our differences rather than to follow societal norms. It's time we live our life. It's time we be who we want to be. We have got to stop changing ourselves just to make others satisfied. It's time to end this. Thank you.